Well, we're going to keep the social media theme going because speaking of social media, it has opened a new door to an age-old problem, bullies. There's no question those bullies carry the scars for a lifetime. Take a look at one husband's bullying poem, which he illustrated and then posted online.
She was 8 years old. Our first day of grade 3 when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of class so we would stop getting bombarded by spitballs. But the school halls were a battleground where we found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We used to stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside we'd have to rehearse running away or learn to stay still like statues, giving no clues that we were there in grade 5. They taped a sign to the front of her desk that read, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful because of a bird.
Super powerful words. I'm telling you, if you watch that whole video, it will move you. But it's just another example of to know that there is help out there. And our next guest has made it his mission to spread that message. We're so happy to be joined now by the founder of the nonprofit My Life, My Power, Daniel Puder. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. You have such a great cause. You founded My Life, My Power in 2010. But you got to tell us, because people know you from being an undefeated mixed martial arts fighter.
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
Why lose? Why lose? I like this. I feel like I'm back in.
I mean, people know you from that. So how did you go from that into My Life, My Power?
You know, I was in special ed. They categorized me as special ed as a kid, and because I had learning disabilities, so my comprehension rate was just that much slower. So
But you learned to succeed.
I learned to succeed because of 3 things. I call them hope, plan, and friend. And the idea is I had the intrinsic motivation to want to do more.
That's the hope.
The plan is my parents, my friends, my mentors, everybody else put it together and showed me how to get.
There you go.
And then at the end of it, it was, well, and they wrote it down. They said, here's how you set goals. Here's how you start a business. So they gave me the actual plan. And the friend is my mentors and my friend, you know,
And
so
look
those
at
3
you.
things.
Total badass.
You know, mine as well, right?
So it went from this to My Life, My Power. How did
Yeah.
that transition happen?
So somebody asked me on Facebook one day what I thought about kids committing suicide or being bullied.
Yeah.
I was on national TV for 8 weeks in a row, and we got over 10,000 emails from 12 different countries in the first 8 weeks. And I said, I'll come to your school if you're being bullied. Problem is, 10,000 schools, I can't go to all of them.
Right.
But were you bullied ever?
Yeah, I was picked on my whole entire growing up because
Which was the same as Mike Tyson. He was bullied as a kid, which
not
is
very
why
nice.
he got into boxing.
right? It's crazy to be able to see why people do what they do, and you grow up and then they ask you, hey, I want to come to your fight, I want to come hang out with you at your party or whatever else, and I look at them and I'm like, really?
You're the same
But
dude
what-
that bullied me.
What was the experience of the bullying? Sorry.
You know, they teased me, laughed at me, picked on me because I couldn't read. Like the teacher would be like, can you read? And the worst thing on earth, I don't see those words like other people see them. So when I read something and now I highlight and I can take notes, I get it. But it takes me 3, 4, 5 times to read a book if I don't highlight or, you know, do something else.
Can we talk about your website? Because I was clicking around on mylifemypower.org, and it's such a resource, not only for children being bullied, but for the bullies themselves, which I think is very important. I think people overlook that. And resources for parents, you've got celebrities. I mean, tell us about the website and how it works.
I'll just give you a gist of it. Every school has a couple things. They have a flyer and a poster. Don't bully, don't do drugs, don't join a gang.
Right.
I haven't found one that worked. I've asked every superintendent principal across country.
Sure.
They have a 30-minute speaker that comes in. Don't.
Right.
Okay, maybe a life story.
And kids rebel when you say, do not do this.
Do
That's
not-
what they
So
want
what
to
do
do.
you do instead?
So our whole thing is we go in and we inspire kids, but we have a follow-up program that's year-round. Because I figure when I leave, who's going to change that
But
kid?
how do you inspire them?
Because you have to find their passions, connect, and build that within an hour.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is that so much of bullying, I think, comes from self-esteem. You know, for you with the learning disability, it's like your self-esteem is bottomed out. And I think the bullies themselves use the bullying to cover their own
Give
low
them
self-esteem.
something to
compensation.
redirect that energy.
And I think I go, I don't know if it's deeper or at a different level, but I go more fulfillment. I talk more about like if you're fulfilled inside, because if you don't have fulfillment but you have a lot of self-esteem, then you can be an ass, right? But if you have fulfillment inside, your self-esteem is going to be at a good level where you can take care of people. So I've been talking more fulfillment than.
And I see you talk to law enforcement a lot too. I
Yeah.
saw some videos there. What type of role does law enforcement play in helping with
Law
this?
enforcement, the National Association of School Resource Officers, I was just at their conference, and for instance, every officer, we filmed 38 of them, they want to be the mentor in schools. These officers
Really?
They don't want to
spend
be seen as
time.
the enemy.
No, they want to help kids. They're there. If you go to your SRO, your school resource officer, if they're security or law enforcement, if they're sworn, they want to help take you from where you're at to where you want to go. If you have a problem, if you're having issues at home, you can always go to them. Them and the counselors are the two people that are not giving you a grade in
And
school.
I think that's so important to know is that they're on your side to help build
Yeah.
you up.
Correct.
And I wonder, what type of maintenance plan do you have? Because you say you go back into the school to make sure that they're, facilitating what you've given them?
Correct. So we have a monthly call with these officers that are rolling out our program. We picked officers because they're the ones that usually have to deal with the problems after. For instance,
Be preventative.
yeah. So instead of dealing with a kid negatively 50 times in 1 year, I'll give you an instance. Judge Madrano in Houston, she said, hey, you know what? Instead of my kids coming back, 5-10 times in court, I want to get them in once. I want them to go through programs, so September through December. Every kid starts going through our program to change their mindset, because it's not telling them don't do this, don't do that. It's having them understand their challenges and successes, their fears they're going to go through, everything they're going to do, and write it down so they think about it long term.
He's
Now,
got a
here's the
book, you
book.
guys. It's a great resource.
My life, my power. So is
Yeah.
that about the whole message is take charge of your own life and that's where your power comes from?
Correct. You have
Did
the
you
power
ever
to do what you
believe
want.
that a kid with a learning disability would have a book?
See?
Not even a book. I'm an undefeated fighter. I did WWE. Just everything. But it was because the Hope Plan and Friend, and I really put that structure
Fantastic.
together.
Well,
Fantastic.
Daniel Puder, we are so happy you came and joined us and shared the information.
Thank
Go
you
to
very much. I appreciate it, bro.
mylifemypower.org. Even if it's not for you, maybe someone you know, you can pass it along and help them out. Thank you so much for joining us.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it.